This. Okay. Magandang hapon, fellow Iskos and Iskas and associates and friends. Ito ang episode 2 ng 2021 Isko Talks from UPAA-MB. I will share my screen. Share. Okay, here we go. First, before we start, kukwento ko lang sa inyo what is Isko Talks para sa mga first-time attendees. So Isko Talks is a very social interaction between UPAA-MB members. This was intended for an interaction between the members. It's basically a social gathering, but there is a topic that we discuss. So the general format is there is a speaker that shares an idea or a concept for 15 minutes to 20 minutes. And after that, it is followed by question and answers. It could be in the form of debate. It could be the form of actual demonstration of whatever they are trying to present. So it is a social gathering. Originally, for now, because of the pandemic, we have made it into an online event. It used to be exclusive to UPAA-MB members, but now we've opened it to the public because this very topic it's very relatable outside the organization anyway. So, meron tayong dalawang speakers, which is the first time for the history of Isko Talks. Usually you only have one speaker. Ngayon meron tayong dalawang speakers, being Jomay Amora-Dueck, the first speaker that will take the floor. BA Mass Communication sa UP Baguio. Jomay is the regional organizer in Manitoba of Climate Reality Project Canada and the education head of Caring for Our Environment Manitoba. Her nomination for the Community Service Award of the Golden Balangay this year is a testament to the meaningful impact of her continuing advocacy of the environment. Our second speaker is Norman Garcia, BS Civil Engineering, UP Diliman. He's the founder of Mr. Peg Property Inspections. He's a strong exponent of residential building energy modeling, energy efficiency, and net zero energy design. Norman currently sits as the director of Sustainable Building Manitoba that promotes sustainable and fossil fuel-free green buildings, a topic that he will discuss later on. So under the tutelage of a team of mentors led by the former US Vice President and Nobel Prize laureate Al Gore, Jomay and Norman went through a training program that aims to build a worldwide network of climate reality leaders, advancing solutions and raising awareness in their communities. So without further ado, the first speaker of the hour will be Jomay Amora-Dueck. And before we start, let me just say a few things for the whole talk. During the talk, the speakers will be the only one having the unmuted button. So lahat tayo mag-mute tayo. And then after that, it will be followed by a question and answer portion. We will put our questions through the messaging application of Zoom para pwede nating basahin. Okay? So para hindi tayo maglalabo-labo. So whoever is speaking will only have the unmute button. Everybody else, please mute your speakers and headsets. Okay. Jomay, ikaw na. I will now make you into the host. Pag ganun ba, ang tawag dito, mawawala yung capability natin na mag-record?
No, actually. No.
Okay. Now, Jomay will take over the floor. Jomay, take it away. Marami.
Can you Okay. Hello guys. So can you see my screen? Yeah, okay, good. All right. So magandang hapon. Welcome to Isko Talks. Again, my name is Jomay, and I'm happy to be here. So, like Yo said, I'm a member of Climate Reality Leadership Core. So, for the benefit of everyone, I'm just going to speak in English, just in case we have, other friends who are joining us today. So, I was trained last year, July 2020, and also became a mentor early this year, and recently been appointed as the regional organizer. So my role is to create a Winnipeg hub. So basically, that's a community climate hub, which is like a organization, for everyone who is interested in climate action, to put forward recommendations and policies to make our city, like say we're in Winnipeg, right? So, or like say Kuya Chris is in Steinbach, so these hubs are supposed to help the community put forward recommendations to make your respective cities and municipalities become carbon free, or like carbon neutral. So before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that I live in Treaty Number 1 territory in Winnipeg. This is the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dene, and Dakota, and the birthplace of the Métis Nation and the heart of the Métis Nation homeland. We acknowledge their unique sense of place because they've been the guardians of this land since time immemorial, and we are committed to amplifying Indigenous voices and supporting Indigenous-led solutions for climate change. So I would like to talk a little bit about our organization. So Climate Reality was founded and chaired by Nobel Peace Prize winner and former US Vice President Al Gore. The Climate Reality Project is dedicated to solve climate crisis and help our community become low carbon resilient and have that help us build a just future for the next generations to come. So we are present in, basically worldwide, but we have offices and we have a global network of activists leading the fight for climate solutions through our international branches. As you can see, we have branches in Africa. We have a branch in Africa, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, Europe, India, Indonesia, Japan, Mexico, and Latin America, and even in the Philippines. And there's also over 140 offices and chapters in the US. So our signature activist program is the Climate Reality Leadership Core, which Norman and I participated last time, right? Right now, the organization has over 33,000 climate activists or climate leaders across the globe and growing. And in Canada, we have about 1,400 climate reality leaders here who have accomplished more than 1,600 acts of leadership in 2020 alone. So these are some of our programs. So like I've mentioned, we have the Climate Reality Leadership Core. I've also mentioned about the Community Climate Hub. We can also discuss this later on. We also do the National Climate League. So this is like the annual report that community climate hubs across the country create, right? The goal here is to create a report which we can use in our campaign, when we talk to our local leaders and politicians. Also, we have the Campus Core program. We don't have that in Winnipeg or Manitoba yet. So if we have, if you know any young people who are interested in starting our very own Campus Core in their respective universities and colleges, please let me know. So I would like to start my presentation. Well, actually, Mr. Al Gore, this is how he usually starts his presentation. So I would like to share with you a beautiful photo of the Earth taken from Apollo 17, which was taken in 1972. So this picture is called the Blue Marble and was taken during the last Apollo mission. So what makes this photograph unique and powerful is that it captures the complete cycle of the Earth and helping us see the big picture of our planet, which we call home. So this is I just want to explain to you the basics of global warming or climate change. So, so the Earth, as we know, gets its energy from the sun in the form of light. And then most of this radiation is absorbed by the Earth, and then it warms, right, the Earth, and gives life to plants, to people, and all the life forms on Earth. So, but some energy is radiated back into space by the Earth in the forms of infrared rays, which are the red rays there, red arrows. And then some of these outgoing infrared radiation is trapped in the Earth's atmosphere, and it makes the Earth warmer. Okay, so however, as the carbon dioxide concentration increases, more of the outgoing infrared radiation is trapped, and that makes it a lot warmer. So right now we are, like throwing 162 million tons of pollution into the air, right? As if it is an open sewer. And what we don't realize is that we only have this very thin shell of atmosphere surrounding our planet, right? And yet we use it as a sewer. So as you can see here, right? The pollution that we have right now, it's equivalent to having or exploding 600,000 of first generation atomic bombs per year for the next 365 years. So every day we put pollution into our air, which is equivalent to 600,000 atomic bombs, which is a lot. So now where does it come from? So it comes from a lot of different sources, right? So as you can see, I like this, little picture here, moving pictures. So you can see we have agriculture, the thawing of permafrost, burning forests, which is happening in Manitoba and other provinces right now, right? But the main driver, the main cause of this global warming, as we call it, is the burning of the fossil fuels, right? So when we say fossil fuels, these are the coal, oil, and gas. And as you can see, from since the World War II, we've been really, using a lot of it, right? And it's adding up very quickly. And that explains why in the last few decades, like as you can see here in the graph, the temperatures are going up so dramatically, right? And this is a very clear depiction that, and the last year was also the hottest year ever measured. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in the last 19 years, right, it's been the hottest. So, but the last 7 years is also the hottest, right? So, like if you can see, since 2014 to 2020, it's been the hottest that we have so far. And that explains why in most part of the world, right, we are already getting results like this. Like for example, in Brazil, they recorded a 50 degrees Celsius temperature, which is about 122 Fahrenheit. And 2020 was also the hottest year in other areas in Latin America. And it was the second hottest year in Latin America and Caribbean as well. And that's not just in Latin America, even in Europe, they also recorded 2020 as the hottest year ever. And same in other places such as Liberia, right? So what we see here is that the heat that is being trapped in a surface is also, making our ocean warmer. So according to this chart here, it's very similar to the surface temperature that I've shown you earlier. As you can see, the hottest year ever measured in the ocean happened in the last 2 decades. So they have a very, very specific data here. So what this shows is, they can even measure ocean temperatures. So as 2000, like even as low as 2,000 meters deep. So you can see that in the last, the half of the increase has been recorded in the last 20 years. And sadly, this has to stop, right? because a lot of species are already being affected because of this warming. And then, so like, for example, here, one of the effects is, like there are more mudslides happening. So in the picture you see, there's at least 50 people recorded, at least 50 people died, when there was a mudslide in Guatemala. So one of the problems that we're facing is that the gravest effects of all the environmental crises like this are suffered by the poorest. And this is what Pope Francis said back in 2015. So again, just a little illustration here. As the temperature increases, the oceans evaporate more moisture into the air. So what it means is they start to evaporate a lot more vapor into the sky. And then that means the storms are getting wetter and also a lot stronger. Again, as you can see here, these are record-breaking precipitation anomalies, not just in hurricanes, right? But even in regular storms that are becoming rain bombs. I don't know if you guys have heard about rain bombs. So they've increased 4 times over. So these rain bombs are becoming more very common. So I'll show you a picture of what the rain bomb looks like. So as you can see, like you see the intensity and the strength of the water being dumped in one place. So those are rain bombs. From January 1st to March 12th, just this year, Colombia experienced 289 severe weather events and at least 77 floods. Also in Australia, right? I don't think they've ever recovered yet from the fires from the last couple of years. And now they're also experiencing flooding as well. And also in Malaysia, right? And also in some other parts of the world like China. And I've seen in the news too that there's also like there was a big flooding also happened like recently. So that is becoming more frequent across the globe. So I just want to show you, like, this is in the Philippines, right? In November of 2020, Typhoon Kamuri. I want to share this because someone I know was one of the victims of the typhoon from last year. So this is a picture of my sister and her daughter Bella. She was just 2 years old in 2019. And that was the first time when they experienced like extreme flash floods in Cagayan. And then the year later, she gave birth to my other niece, Yana. And she's like only like 2 months old and she's already experienced, climate disasters such as this. And my sister, for both occasions, they remained on their roofs for at least 3 to 5 days before rescuers were able to help them, right? So this is again my sister. This was last year. This is a photo of her and some of her family, like being rescued by a boat. And, I'm sure most of you have relatives who were also affected by those typhoons, right? So the typhoon was so strong, the Magat Dam in Cagayan, the Magat Dam had to open 7 of its gates. And that caused massive flooding, mainly in Isabela and Cagayan area, which also, domino effect, right? So it's also affected areas such as Metro Manila. And a lot of people died, of course, and at least 1.2 people were affected. So just to explain a little bit, so this is what's happening here. So because of the extreme warmth, right, in the atmosphere, the same heat that evaporates, from the ocean, it causes bigger downpours and floods. Meanwhile, it pulls moisture from the soil, which causes droughts, which is also happening here in Canada. And well, it's already happening in other places, right? So this is a picture of a river in Brazil. As you can see, it's almost dry. And in October 2026, just last year, large parts of South America experienced a severe drought. And they've been experiencing this for the last 4 years. So also here in Mexico, as you can see, if you can see all those brown spots, those are areas that are experiencing drought. Okay, even US, right? One of the strongest economies is experiencing it. And right now, 100% of California is currently, in drought. So just let me show you this picture here. Sorry, like this illustration graph. So the hotter years typically have more fires, right? And this is dangerous because it, like in the last 3 years, you can see how the fires and temperature go up and down together. And this is becoming more frequent. So like California, we know they have they have their fire season, which is so tragic. But in worldwide too, like it's happening in other places as well. So you can see the upward trend, right? It's not even going down, so it's getting worse every single year. So this is a glacier in Greenland, sorry, many decades ago, right? I'll show you what it looks like now, right? So that's both summer. So this was in summer 1935, and now this is decades later. So you can see that most of the glaciers are gone. Yeah, and we're talking about gigatons of glaciers melting every single year, and this causes increasing sea level. Sorry. Okay. Yep. So because of the warming, we are seeing more ice loss per year, and we're talking about in billion metric tons. So, and like eventually we will see the effects, right? So right now, a lot of cities are already in danger of just going to disappear in the next few years because of rising sea levels. So I don't know if you remember, like a few months ago, I sent an invitation to watch a documentary about Kiribati. It's a small country which is found near the equator, and they're also located in the international dateline. So it's a very powerful documentary. I really recommend you to see it. So right now they are experiencing, they're one of the first countries to suffer from climate crisis. And it's so severe that they have to purchase a land in another country. I think this is New Zealand or something. I have to verify that, to house its citizens, right? Because the flooding is just getting worse every single year. So even the US Department of Defense says that climate change will likely lead to food and water shortages and other refugee-related disasters and problems, right? There will be a lot of climate refugees in the near future, and it's actually happening now. So this is a picture of, people trying to cross the border. So mind you, these are not Mexicans. So most of these are, citizens of Latin America who are experiencing massive droughts and floodings and stuff like that. So there will be more in the future. And climate change is also the biggest global health threat of the 21st century, right? Right now, we are in the middle of pandemic, and not being, I'm not trying to be negative here, but, scientists say that coronavirus will not be the first and last, so, that's the effects of climate change, and that's really, really scary. So as the temperature becomes warmer, like all these diseases that are usually common in tropical areas are slowly moving into areas, colder areas like America, like America and places above the equator, right? Also, deaths are sorry. So also the biggest health threat to climate crisis is the air pollution. So a lot of people are also dying because of the air pollution that we have right now. So the climate crisis is also an extinction of and biodiversity crisis. So we are now losing at least 50% of species. So this is actually what they call a golden poison frog, which is, like said to be extinct in the next few years. So what I just shared to you is the other component of climate change, that there are also a lot of climate defenders who are being killed because they speak against all this, environmental distraction. So I'm going to just speed up my presentation here. Okay, just want to share to you like what's happening in the US and also in Canada. So right now there was a heat wave last month in the Pacific Northwest. So, as you can see, because of the extreme temperature, the roads are cracking, they need to water it, pools are closed because, people get severe burns when they step onto the pavements. People are becoming creative. They create misters around their homes. And the first responders, they get a lot of calls, they get so busy. And so this is a scientist, he's a climate specialist. And he shows that, the temperature is rising. And he even said that climate change really is a factor in the heat wave happening in the US. So it's a domino effect, right? We're also their neighbors. So it's same thing happened in BC last month, right? Where heat wave happened to them. And a lot of people there said it's never happened before. As you can see, a lot of cities and municipalities in BC, in British Columbia, set new climate records, right? As you can see. So it's also endangering our own glaciers in the country. And also people, right? Mostly seniors are dying because of the heat wave. And that's not just the end. Like there's more wildfires happening. There's even, another advisory for next week in BC. Meanwhile, in Canada, we ourselves experienced, forest fires, and we've been inhaling the smoke for a couple of weeks already. But the problem here is that it's usually the people who contributed less to climate change are the ones that are affected. What I'm trying to say here, the indigenous peoples who are the guardians of the land are the ones being affected in this scenario, right? At least 2,000 people have to be evacuated because of the forest fires. And not only that, our farmers are suffering also. Here, I'm just showing you, in Canada, they did a study about firefighters in Fort McMurray, and they're saying that our first responders are, like they have a higher chance of developing respiratory diseases. So here in Manitoba, we've been experiencing dry conditions. Our farmers are suffering, right? And so what this is about is the reason why we're experiencing this is also that Manitoba, although we have, we've been using electricity, the clean electricity, but we are also using fossil fuels, right? In fact, transportation is the #1 contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, followed by agriculture. And our emissions is predicted to be rising in the next few years. And that's something that we have to, talk to our political leaders. So I'm just showing you briefly like why these are. So these slides here can be found in Climate Reality Project's National Climate League. And I can send a link later on where you can get the report. I'm just gonna fast forward here because I'm running out of time. So this is the standings. As you can see, Winnipeg, we're not the best in terms of sustainable buildings, not not in the clean air either. We're using a lot of fossil fuels or gas. We're also like one of the top culprits when it comes to creating waste. We don't have a lot of farmers here. Like, I mean, our food is always, being imported from other places. We need more local farmers and local produce. We need to create more sustainable jobs in the province. We have to support sustainable transportation. We are so lagging in terms of, bike lanes. And like I said, this is a National Climate League. I will show you where to get that report. So this is the cost of using fossil fuels, right? So a lot of people say, oh, like, if we remove fossil fuels, we will suffer. But really, like all these effects, all these disasters that are happening, and, for us losing our environment, our, the natural resources, that is priceless. So we have to really think about really stopping this and opt for a cleaner alternative. We have solutions at hand, and some of them will be discussed by my colleague Norman. So right now, there's a worldwide wind capacity, and it's growing, right? And it's getting a lot cheaper as well. So it's becoming more common. A lot of countries, they are really turning to clean air, like, and clean energy. We have solar panel. Solar energy rather, sorry, is really growing too across the globe. A lot of countries are using it now. So just want to show you this slide about Chile, how they embrace the solar energy, like how powerful this is. That's amazing, right? Okay, so we have enough solar energy, and all we have to do is really push, our leaders to, to use policies, create policies for us to be able to use clean energy. I'm not just going to talk about this. There are more companies who are, trying to do green now. And so yeah, that is my presentation. So I'd like to pass this on to my colleague, Norman.
Okay, thank you, Jomay, for the intro. Can you please make me host so I can share my slide?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, can you see my slides? Okay, so as Jomay mentioned, there are many ways to fight climate change. So Jomay mentioned changing our habits, using bikes, being more active in the community. So I'm gonna narrate how you can fight climate change at your home. So Canada back in 2016, as a signee country in the Paris Agreement, wrote this paper, the Pan-Canadian Framework on Clean Growth and Climate Change. So basically, what this paper is saying is, by 2030, Canada should be a net zero economy, and building is a close second to transportation as the biggest energy consumption and emission. So we have a lot of opportunities in the building sector, and residential consists about 17%. So just about 2 months ago, our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced the federal government's home retrofit program. So I invite you to Google search Canada Greener Homes Grant. So basically, they're giving homeowners money to make the homes energy efficient. Most of the homes in Manitoba are powered by natural gas, but in fact, the term natural gas is actually a greenwash term. The scientific term for natural, quote unquote, natural gas is methane. No, it's methane, CH4. But utility companies like Manitoba Hydro don't use the term methane because it's not sexy. Like, oh, we're gonna sell you a methane, we're gonna power your home's methane. But they use the term natural gas. The reason why it's called natural gas is because once it's pumped out of the ground, it's almost a very minimal process. It can be used to power our furnaces, no? So, but that's it, no? It's still dirty, natural gas, no? It's a fossil fuel, and in my personal opinion, natural gas should stay in the ground. And as Jomay mentioned, the Earth has enough solar and wind energy to power the entire Earth. We just have to use our will and use our resources to make that happen. So fossil fuels like natural gas can stay in the ground. So going back to this grant, so the federal government is giving $5,000 to up to 700,000 homes in all over Canada. But this 5,000 grant should be spent on energy efficiency measures. So hindi pwede yung you'll use this 5,000 to buy to install a new backsplash, to change your carpet, to change your floor. So it has to be on energy efficiency measures. And then also, the federal government will not just give you 5,000 and bye-bye. So they're hiring as subcontractors, energy advisors to tell them that you're really spending that money in energy efficiency measures. Okay? So ano yung breakdown ng 5,000 na yun? So up to $50, you can buy a smart or programmable thermostat. Up to 1,000 to air seal your house. And then if you don't have a sump pump, or you can use that up to 2,650. Or if for homes in the northern community, they can buy backup battery. And then also you can upgrade your insulation, attic, so walls. You can upgrade your old furnace, windows, doors, and kung bago yung bahay mo, then you can buy or you can use the 5,000 to purchase renewable energy like solar panels. So I think steps, I will not go into, it's a long process. So basically, you will be assisted by an energy advisor to guide you along the way, no? And this process is Available in the Canada website. And then at the end of your renovation, your energy advisor will testify that you've done the renovation, and then that's the time you will submit the receipt to the federal government. You'll just upload it to the website, and then they will reimburse you with the money. So ano yung ginagawa ng energy advisor? So the energy advisor will go to your house. They will set up a blower door. So blower door basically it will inflate your house like a balloon. Imagine yung lobo, hipa niya yung balloon. Then kung may butas yung balloon, lalabas dun yung hangin, no? So and then the energy advisor will go around the house, find where those leaks are going out. And air leaks is bad kasi you paid money to heat that air, and then it's just going to somewhere you're not the occupants, you are not enjoying the heat, no? So you're just wasting money. And then at the end, you'll have a report and then also a label called the Guide label. So this is very similar to a food label, no? Diba? Pag bumibili kayo ng pagkain, you look at the carbs, you look at the protein. No? Ako, I'm very conscious of what I eat because I run a lot. So let's say before I run, I make sure na I have enough carbs. And then after the run naman, I make sure I have enough protein. So same thing sa house, no? So sa Energy Guide label, nandun naka-indicate kung how many gigajoules of energy your house consumes in a year. And it also tells how much carbon dioxide in metric tons ang ini-emit niya per year. Okay? So for this specific example, ang rating ng house na to is 74. And then just to give you a perspective, 1 gigajoule, its unit of energy, 1 gigajoule is equivalent to 2 barbecue propane tanks. So if this house will cut its gas line from Manitoba Hydro and then just use propane tank, so it will use 148 propane tanks to heat this house for the entire year. And then the energy advisor will give you advice on how to lower your energy emission or your CO emission. And then for each recommendation, naka-indicate doon how many gigajoules ang masasave a year. So for example, pag in-upgrade yung upgrade cooling system, it will save 1 gigajoules per year. Upgrade heating system, it will save you 29 gigajoules per year, etc. And then may mga breakdown how that will be achieved. And this is what's happening in the future. Wala pa to sa Winnipeg, but soon it will happen. This is actual energy mapping from Edmonton. They have a website called homes.changeforclimate.ca energy mapping. So parang MLS, no? So we have a realtor here, Gian Pao. So in the future, dito sa Edmonton, ginagawa nakalagay sa MLS listing ang energy consumption ng house. No, di ba? I'm sure most of us have bought a house in the last 5 or 10 years. And then, di ba, sa MLS listing nakalagay yung size ng house, how many stories, ano ang material ng roof, kung may countertop, etc. No? But in the future, dito sa Manitoba, which is ginagawa na sa Edmonton, naka-indicate yung Energy Guide rating ng house. So pumunta ako sa website nitong Edmonton and I took actual samples, no. Ito 2 houses to on the same street, which is I think 5 or 6 houses away. So the house on the left was built in 1976, the one on the right built 1977. Although it's not apple to apple, yung left it's a 2-story built house, yung sa right 1 story. But this is the closest I can find na belongs to the same street, no? So yung sa left, it consumes 260 gigajoules per year. The one on the right, 70. And then energy intensity in terms of per square meter, yung sa left, 1.08. And then sa right, 0.31 gigajoules lang. And then in terms of carbon emission, yung sa left, 16.5 tons per year, and then the one on the right, 4.1. So let's assume na the prices of these two houses are same. Let's say parehong 400,000 or siguro kalahating milyon do sa Edmonton, no? Dahil Alberta. So 400,000. And then so which one will you buy? So personally, I'll buy the one which has the lower Energuide rating. And then, as mentioned earlier, this will be in the future here in Manitoba. So please note, Gian, our fellow UP alumni na realtor. Yeah. So this what's happening. So yun, ito yung so this is so I invite you to visit the website ng Canada Greener Homes program to have more information about this federal program. So I'll give the hosting back to Jomay.
Norman, can you assign me as the host? Thanks.
Just a minute.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the question now is, can you see my screen? So the question now is what to do, right? So right now, we still have the 2015 Paris Agreement, and US is back again, which is good news. But what does it mean, right? So for other countries, they have set their own emissions, right? And especially other countries that are considered one of the largest emitters, such as China. As for Canada, we we have pledged to put the Paris Agreement on track now. See how it goes. But that's good news, right? I mean, so right now there are more and more companies, global companies, pledging to help fight the climate crisis. So if you're part of that organization, talk to your employer and see how you can help, right, in your community. How can I get involved? So we have five. We have 5 suggestions. The first one is join us, join Norman and I. Our goal here in the next few years is to build our own Winnipeg hub, which will be a different type of siguro tambayan din, but mostly like we're working together to help our city and our province become climate resilient, right? And also we invite you to join us. There's an upcoming training, a global training in October. I'll give you more information later. And also, I know most of you live sustainably and we can't be perfect. I'm not perfect. No one is perfect. But, little things add up, right? So if you know if you do small things, diba, it adds up. So keep doing that and keep researching how you can, do better, right? And most importantly, speak up, send a letter, an email to your officials, elected leaders in the community, talk to your organization members and see how you can do it as an organization. And if you're a student, help us create, a campus core in the colleges and universities here in Manitoba. So why am I saying that creating a climate hub is important? We can have all this we can have this Paris Agreement, blah, 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 but it means nothing. It's insignificant if the smaller hubs, like, in the Philippines, like barangay, kung hindi gagalaw ang barangay, anong paki nila kung ano pa yung mga international agreement, right? So we have to start here in our community, like say in Winnipeg, in Steinbach, in other places of Manitoba. It's important kasi the municipality, they have they have the power. They're the ones who create policies, laws on transportation, on sustainable building, and building bylaws and stuff like that. And that's why building a strong climate community hub is important. So like I said, I will send you a link on how to register for the next global training. Norman and I would like to see more Filipinos and visible minorities joining Climate Reality Leadership Corps. Actually, I think I'm the only Filipino here. For last year, I was the only Filipino, and I'm so glad Norman joined me. So I hope to see more, UP alumni joining us in the future. This is for everybody, right? Like whether you're a community leader, you're a parent who is concerned about the future of your children, you're a young person, you're an activist, you're a business people, everyone is welcome. So I'm not just gonna talk about this. I can just show you the slides, maxed out our time. But I just wanna highlight that we need to continue awareness, right? We are already feeling the effects of climate change. And I think some people are still clueless. And like if we know about this already, it is our responsibility to educate other people, right? Especially we need to be respectful and work with Indigenous people in our community and put their voices front and center. And I'm just proud that my husband joined me in, in the rally. This is a rare photo of my Esteban joining me in my in my stuff, right? So I'm very proud, like it's nice to have your significant loved one or significant other to join you in your campaign, right? It makes things a lot easier. And like of course we have to work with other countries and other places, right, in this campaign. And more importantly, we also have to help these defenders, like I'm not just talking about Filipino defenders, but defenders across the world, right? Because they're being attacked because they speak out to protect their community, and in return they're being killed or murdered and harassed, right? And it's not fair. So we have to fight for justice, because injustice anywhere threatens justice everywhere, right? Makes sense. So I'm just gonna leave you this quote. So those, like this is Mr. Al Gore's favorite quote. So join those who are using their voices, their votes, their choices to fight for their future, community, and the world. Use your voice, your vote, your choices, speak truth to power, like your world depends on it, because your world really depends on it. So that's it. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Have a good day.
Okay. Maraming salamat. Wow, that was very informative Isko Talks. And for the first time, we had two speakers. I'd like to tell you that usually the online Isko Talks only last for 1 hour, but because of the topic that we have, I won't mind extending this to 4:30. We already have at least 3 questions sa sa ating chat. If you have any questions, just so we don't overlap or talk over each other, please use the chat below. Yun. So type in your questions, and Jomay or Norman or anybody who wants to step in, who has expertise on the subject matter, please do. This is the essence of Isko Talks. It only happened because na online tayo because of the pandemic. But without the pandemic, this would be a round table and us having beers or beverage of your preference habang nag-uusap-usap tayo. But for now, we'll make do with what we have. So type in your questions. Jomay and Norman or anybody else who wishes to answer could answer. But for etiquette, if you're not asking a question or if you're not answering the question, please mute your microphone. But if you are going to speak, just yes, unmute And I would just like to remind you, we will cut this recording off by 4:30. If we need to continue this some other time, you may contact Jomay and Norman. They will put in their information or their contact details in the chat, how you could reach them, tawag, text, message, whatever, if you want to ask them more details. Maraming salamat sa presenters. Jomay, Norman, rock and roll. Ang galing, ang galing. So we'll let the Q&A start. Okay. Question number 1 is from Anne. I'll mute my microphone, and Jomay or Norman, take over, please.
Norman, do you want to go first? Some of the questions are about your presentation.
Yo, was that my question? Like, are the new home, is there a requirement for the new homes now, Mr. Peg, to be like at that standard energy efficient, standard?
Yes, yung mga new homes ngayon, required na may ma-meet yung minimum requirements ng energy efficiency. Tapos yung mga new homes ngayon, option na i-blower door yung bahay, na make sure na walang air leaks yung bahay, no. Pero as you mentioned, no, option lang siya. In lieu of blower door, maraming gagawin yung mga contractor. So yeah. Pero at the end, more energy efficient than older homes.
Yeah, that answers my question. Sana lang may checklist, because for someone like me who don't know what needs to be checked in the home. Thank you.
Welcome.
There's a question. What are from Chibu Uson? Did I say it right? What are the top 3 actions which we can do to mitigate climate change and address environmental challenges? So I guess the number 1 thing that we can do is really reduce the carbon emissions, like greenhouse gas emissions. So I'm talking about the use of fossil fuels, gas, but the question is, I don't have a car, I bus and stuff like that. But like really, it's about 2 things, right? It's about us being as individuals, consumers, but the biggest emitter are companies, right? The companies. And so it's not all about us. So sometimes ako na-anxiety talaga ako kasi parang I'm not doing enough. But come on, don't blame yourself, don't beat yourself too much kasi we're doing our part already, right? So but I guess what we need to do is really address the biggest emitter, right? So and also talking to the government. Like for example, Manitoba is doing a great job in terms of using clean electricity. But we're like what Norman said, we're still using methane, right? We're still methane in our buildings, in our homes to heat our homes. Right? And I know it's a basic need that we need to be warm during winter times, but there's so many ways. And also the second thing I would say is food, right? Like it's the food that we eat. I'm not saying that you guys should go vegetarian or vegan, but that's the ideal. If you can do it, good. It's the best option. But if you can't, at least reduce the amount of meat that you eat. That will go a long way. I can send you a lot of, like why you should reduce 1 kilo of beef because it amounts to a number of methane, something like that. But we know that already. And also, like take time to really support local farmers. I myself started buying my vegetables from local CSA, and I love it. My husband's so excited to pick up our bin every week. So that goes a long way, especially now that they are experiencing droughts and fires and stuff like that. So it's really important. It's a win-win situation, right? We help our farmers, we get pesticide-free food, and it's local. It's like less 100 kilometers radius from us, right? And that's a win-win situation. And I guess the third and not the least definitely is to create awareness. We have to be doing a lot of this, reach a lot of people as possible, and yeah, educate them about what's happening.
Jomay or Norman, na-skip natin yung question ni Des about small businesses. Does anyone know the answer or have any idea?
Yeah, and I can speak to you can message me, Kuya Norman. I know that there are builders using hemp and then straw bales. I'm just not sure because when you're talking about, I think it's more of like renovation. So do you have any leads about small businesses building a new structure and then considering sustainable materials if there are like any incentive on that? And I want to piggyback on Shibu's question also to what John might have answered. And I really like what Kuya Norman said that, the change start in our homes. But also I think it starts with what conversations are we going to have with our families, right? Because these conversations, how we can change our lifestyle is such an uncomfortable topic. Right. And it is very overwhelming. But to piggyback on I want to answer Chiva's question. I think you have to really think what your family dynamics are, right? Because maybe like what we're doing at for me, like right away, I see we have to rethink our green spaces, right? Because and we have to rethink about our green spaces. We have to start asking questions. We have to be curious. Why do we have lawns? How does Manitoba growers like able like to grow? We have to start asking a lot of like questions, and because I think yung training natin yung the way that we were trained is that like we get our food like from the grocery. We don't know like the basic in terms of like who are the people growing our food, but sometimes that is not yung pinaka practical in your family dynamics, and that's fine. So I really like Kuya Norman's point that it starts in our homes, but also what is our family dynamics and how can it has to be personalized. Like what can work with Jomay may not work for me and might not work like for everyone. Yes, and then just to piggyback on what you're asking, like yung pag-support natin sa mga producers in Manitoba, it is actually one of parang yung 17 pillars of sustainability that you are creating a circular economy. So yung pera natin stays within our province, and I could go on and on that, but I think we check our lifestyle too, which are the ones that we're willing to make those sacrifices. And I think it will never be easy, and I think not being hard is okay if we wanted to really make a dent as change, like for the future generation. So thank you so much, Kuya Norman and Jomay, because it really made me think a lot of things already on what else can I do like moving forward from this. And for everyone who is like feeling overwhelmed, it is overwhelming, but I think you can start right at your homes and what will work for your family.
Thank you, Des. Norman, can I answer one question here? So there's a question from Kuya Dario Sidro. Thank you for the question. So question is, how far are we in influencing our municipalities in Manitoba regarding climate change? So what I would say is, it's not like they're not doing anything. Like, for example, from the city up to the federal level, governments are doing something. Like in the city, they have their climate change plan. In Manitoba, we have a Made in Manitoba plan. And obviously the federal is part of a Paris Agreement. But I think it's not enough, right? So for example, simple thing, as simple as composting, we are so behind in terms of having a systematic, like a system-wide composting programs. Like I live in an apartment and I have to talk to my I have to talk to my building manager, like on a personal level, to encourage her to put up, like a composting program in our building. So that's something that maybe we can do. And also, I've shared a link of the National Climate League. If you have a time, read it. You will see how Winnipeg fared, compared to other cities in Canada. That's makita mo doon na parang, oh my God, sa bike lane kulela tayo, sa composting, sa basura, ang daming, yung Winnipeggers, ganito, ang daming basura, ganito. And that's why we create the National Climate League. That is your tool that you can use when you talk to your local leaders. So yeah, we can go on, be detailed, give you specifics, but that's the bottom line. Bottom line, they're doing something, but I guess we can do so much more, right? Norman, sorry.
I'll answer question ni Chris Ontong. At this point, can the average home switch to 100% solar power? If not, what percentage? Cost? Yan. Right now, it's feasible, but we are getting there. Kasi right now, ang ginawa ng Manitoba, ginawang sobrang baba ng price ng natural gas, ng methane gas, such a way na hindi makakompete yung solar industry. So, ngayon, mas mura pa rin ang mag-use ng methane gas. So, kaya mabagal ang uptick ng solar dito sa Manitoba. But that will change kasi the more na more people are becoming aware na solar, and then obviously economies of scale, the more na bumaba yung more economies of scale, mas bababa yung price ng solar. And then pag dumating yung point na solar is much cheaper and can be competitive to methane gas, then that's the time na makes more sense. Pero right now, we're not there yet, but we are getting there.
I would also like to address Kuya Chris Ontong's question. So question is, can you share any important daily practices that we can do at the household level or community level? So so for example, babanggitin ko lang po ito. I just discovered this recently because, like I said, I really need to compost my stuff, but I live in the building, so I don't have backyard, right, to do my composting. So I discovered there's a sharewaste.com. It's an app you can download it in your phone. The reason why I'm sharing this is it's for people who may have a house or not, or maybe you have a house but you don't have time to do composting. There's an app. It shows you the map. It shows you the people who accept compost products. So you can contact them, email them. I shared the link. You can. I have it on my phone. It's so nice. I use it. So I've met Emily. She lives like a few blocks from here. So that's where I send my compost. Also, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because we need more homes to be the recipient, the people that na mag-accept ng mga compost kasi we don't have much. So ito po siya. So nakakatuwa siya kasi nare-record pati niya kung ilan pounds or kilos na ang na-donate mo doon sa host mo. So what we need right now is we need more hosts across Winnipeg, right? So like especially us, oh my God, we are the biggest visible minority community in Winnipeg. And you can also do this in other places, I guess. I'm not sure, Kuya Chris, but we can check but you can start that also in Steinbach, right? And it's good because especially yung methane, it's also very strong. It's 25% more, 25 times potent than carbon dioxide. So it's really important. And also like, like about food nga, try to buy food, which is like, especially summer, buy it from the farmers. Ako, I make it fun. Well, I enjoy naman talaga going to farmers market. So whenever I tell friends or family, oh, I went to St. Norbert or I went to downtown farmers market, I got this, I got that. right? And it also helps when you post on social media, on Facebook, and then, to get people's interest, like, oh, that looks nice. Or where did you get that? And then you say, oh, like, I went to St. Norbert or this farmer's market and stuff. And try to, for me, I also try to buy from people or businesses that make an effort to be eco-friendly, right? So for example, I always promote Lourdes, right? Because, she's doing a really good job in terms of highlighting Filipino business and eco-friendly practices. So. Okay.
All right.
Yo?
Thank you. Bago tayo magtapos, it's time check. It's 4:12. We're cutting the whole activity at 4:30. Bago matapos ang lahat, ang requirement ni Chairman Oscar, picture muna. So yung mga hindi mahiyain, please put on your videos. Tayo ay mag-group picture because attendance. Okay, ako na ang or Ann, can you take a screenshot? Okay. Mag-unmute ka, Ann, and then you do the countdown.
Okay.
Okay.
Si Danjay
Alright.
pala yung Galaxy. Hello,
Yes.
Yes, Danjay. Okay, everyone's ready. Give your best smile. 1, 2, 3, shot. One more. Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Yay! Waki pose kaya. Waki. Paano mo mag-waki? Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Yay! Okay, and some more. 1. Okay, one more. Wala na to. One more. And last, smile. Give your full shot. Okay. Si Kuya Jun yata, he's raising his hand.
Oo nga, sorry.
Ann. Thank you. So for the other attendees, kung meron pa kayong question, we have
Kuya Jun
about
yata may
7
question.
minutes to go. Type in your questions. For anyone who wants to react to the presentation, please do so kasi yun ang essence ng Isko Talks. I'd like to hear your feedback. If you have any questions to Norman, kasi he's leaving. Pupunta pa sa Grand Beach si Norman. So mag-absorb pa siya ng solar energy sa labas. Kaya if you have any
Okay,
questions,
nice seeing you. Okay,
Norman.
kids.
Kuya Jun, I think he has a question.
Yeah, gusto ko lang dagdagan yung sinabi may mga tanong sila Lourdes, si Dario, tungkol dun sa funding, So I work with the government of Manitoba, kaya medyo may familiarity ako. Des yung sa funding for small business, you can actually access funding from yung building sustainable local communities that's administered by Manitoba Municipal Relations and Conservation and Climate Fund, yung Climate and Green Plan Implementation Office. But that's very competitive. Pero given your innovative project, so I think that's likely to be considered. So but you just have to network. I mean, use your network, your organization dun sa hemp producer ba yan? So and then dun sa point ni Dario about how are we influencing municipalities. Actually, there's this project I'm involved in, yung Manitoba Climate Resilience Training Project. It's actually training and building capacities of engineers, planners, water resource managers, and indigenous and business sectors. So para incorporate yung climate risk dun sa planning and decision making nila. So we're training all these professionals and sectors para take into consideration yung climate risk. So hopefully, well, it would take time to build the capacity, pero this provides the foundation so that we'll be able to systematically develop measures to address yung changing climate. So tapos yung isa pa tungkol doon sa green spaces, for instance, the city of Winnipeg is developing a comprehensive urban forestry strategy, so that will actually promote that kind of green space development in the city. And it's also also we call this captured in the Manitoba Climate and Green Plan, yung provincial strategy. Yan lang. Thank you very much.
Anyone else would like to ask a question? Si Norman yata ay nakaalis na. So this question would most likely go to Jomay or to anyone who would like to step in, like Kuya Jun. Kuya Jun, maraming salamat for that information. Habang wala pang nagtatanong, habang wala pang iniisip, I'd like to thank everyone who attended. This is the second episode, second Isko Talks of year 2021. And hopefully, fingers crossed, kapag nag-relax pa yung restrictions, we could do this in person, face-to-face, may hawak na beer o kape o ano man ang gusto nyo inumin. So, because this is how it was supposed to be. It's a face-to-face interaction. So, any other questions? If we don't have any questions, we will cut this off short. But if you do, please, we still have 12 minutes to go. So, or
Yeah,
reactions. Reactions is also good.
Yeah, wag lang po violent. And just reaction, plain reaction. Question po from Kuya Chris, is there a fee for signing up with Climate Reality Leadership Program? That is a very good question. So right now, to be honest, the climate reality training in the past, pre-pandemic, it's always been free. However, it used to be in person. So that's why in 2019 when I applied, hindi ako natanggap kasi they really screen people, right? Not because they're very elite or something like that. It's because there's so many interests kasi ano to worldwide. Kaya lang syempre yung events nila is they can only hold, so many people. Like for example, 2,000, 3,000 people at a time. So yun nga. So to make sense, it makes sense na they will screen you. But right now, it is the best time to join the training kasi because it's global and it's free. And right now, they're doing it online. So like last time, during my time when I joined, there was at least 13,000 application and there were like 10,000 people that were accepted. So in one training, 10,000, normally they can only accommodate 2,000 to 3,000 people. So yeah, so please join. You can learn so much. Talaga as in grabe, yung kung climate, anyway, kung yari nerd ka, kasi ako minsan feeling ko nerd ako. Kung medyo nerdy ka about this stuff, you will appreciate it kasi ang mga speakers nila talaga high level, like mga Nobel winner scientists, like mga ganon. So you will really learn things that you don't normally see in mainstream media or even at school. Yeah. And also it's a global network. So I have friends already from all parts of Canada. I have friends all over the world now, mostly in the Philippines then. So if you are looking to expand your network, right? Because there's so many people there, like, from farmers to scientists, teachers, young people, artists, everybody. And then meron kaming sariling Facebook, parang Facebook, pero meron kaming reality hub that you have access, that you have your own username and password. So, you have access to all other trainings, documents, resources, and may chat group din doon. So it's really good. It's a good experience. You should be part of this. So I sent you that link. You can click that link, and then right now they haven't advertised the date because katatapos lang po nung Latin America. So, but if you sign up now, then you will receive all the future notifications regarding the event or the training.
Okay, thank you, Jomay. Any other questions? Wala pa po. Okay, meron lang akong gustong i-add. Maybe this would push you a little bit tungkol sa choice natin ng energy. Though kapag wala kang masyadong pera, dahil nga mahal ng solar panels, the use of natural gas, methane gas, hindi rin siya 100% safe. Just to let you know, I work in the environmental consultancy, and methane gas leaking into your homes or into your establishment is considered by the city of Winnipeg a hazard. So pag nagte-test kami ng mga seepages ng methane sa mga bahay or sa mall, there is a certain concentration of methane that will be dangerous because methane gas is a flammable gas. So pwedeng sumabog siya. So it's one of the risks. Mura nga siya pero it has that risk. Methane as well, maamoy mo siya for the first few minutes, and then after that, wala na, hindi mo na alam kung kung highly concentrated na yung methane dun sa basement mo or sa bahay mo. So maybe that's something to think about too. So hindi siya ganun din ka safe, though mura siya. And as we all know, being people, we gravitate towards convenience. So kung ano mas mura, ano mas madali, dun tayo. But again, as what Jomay said, we have to think for the future. We have to look at the bigger picture. So anyway, we have 8 minutes ago. Any other questions, reactions, suggestions? Meron ko yung gustong i-plug something environmental or even not, something that is UP related. We have a few minutes to go. Oscar, if you have any words, parting words, or if you have any reactions to what we've accomplished so far in terms of Isko Talks, I'll have you get the floor.
Okay, thank you, Yo. So this is our second episode of Isko Talks. Thank you to our speakers, Jomay and Norman. It's so important that we have to listen and discuss these topics because climate change is not a threat. It's already here and we have to deal with it. And it's important to know that everyone has a role, whether you're big or small, you have a role. It's an overwhelming situation. We're in dire straits, but your contribution to healing the environment, however small, will contribute to the bigger good for everybody. So thank you for coming today. Thank you for participating, for asking those questions, those difficult questions, those questions that we need to know. It's a good step in the right direction. And thank you to you for organizing this.
This is temporary, by the way. Next time, face-to-face tayo. Face-to-face. We're hoping for the face-to-face.
So sa inyo, sa pag-imbita sa amin at pakikinig, maraming salamat. Very much appreciated. Nilagay ko rin po dito yung email ko tsaka phone number if you have further questions. And Norman and I also provide free presentations such as this. Pwede rin pong customized. And it's free. We don't charge. So that's part of our role as climate leaders. We want to reach as many people as possible. So if you know anyone, any organizations that you think might benefit from a presentation like this, let us know, and then we can work with them. So we can also present or talk to them about this. Thank you, Olet. Thank you po.
Okay, everyone. Last questions. If anything else, we can now start cutting off the Isko Talks. There are more to come from UPAA-MB. Meron tayong Isko Talks, and some of our directors still have events planned for the next months throughout the year. So we hope to see you there. Maraming salamat ulit sa inyong lahat for participating. It's nakakataba ng puso. And we hope to see you all personally very soon. Anything else? Bago tayo mag-cut off ng recording?
EGM, October 16.
October 16, Annual General Assembly for those who are not active members, meaning hindi pa bayad ng registration fee. Magbayad na kayo. So we can participate. And hopefully, diba, para magkita-kita na tayo. I just had my second dose this morning. So medyo safe na. We hope to see you soon. Anything else? Last takers? No? Okay. Maraming salamat ulit, Jomay and Norman. Alam ko nagdadrive ka na ngayon. To all our attendees, maraming salamat. See you in the next Isko Talks. Hopefully, it will be face-to-face. Maraming salamat.
See you soon. Bye.
Salamat, ingat kayo.
God bless. Salamat po sa lahat ng nag-attend.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Salamat, ingat. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Hello. Bye. Okay.
Salamat po, Kuya Oscar.
Thank you din. Sa talk. Thank you.
Thanks, yo.
Okay na. So, pwede ko na i-cut off. Ate Gina, maraming salamat.
Late ako. Sorry.
It's okay. Recorded ito. It will be uploaded somewhere else.
Yeah, I'll send you the recording.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, nagaling ako. Open. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Salamat, Abol, Gina. Salamat.
Right.